Peace, love, and transcendence, everyone. This video topic is focusing on global warming, climate change, and magnetic pole reversal. So we're going to be discussing these three topics, just giving you some general information about it. And now, first off, we're going to start with climate change and how all three of these topics affect human life. So first up is climate change. What is climate change and what is the definition of climate change? Excuse me. Climate change is the change of weather patterns that could last for an extended period of time. So when it comes to climate change, and I think that we're experiencing this right now due to so many different weather patterns that we see across the nation and across the world. The temperatures are rising in some places, the temperatures are dropping in some places, and one day it's hot, the next day it's cold, and I think that that's a part of the climate change and global warming, as well as maybe even, dare I say, HAARP has something to do with it. It's a possibility because, you know, at the same time, I'm also a conspiracy theorist, so that's like a big conspiracy theory concerning HAARP and how HAARP can control the weather. But we have been experiencing some weird weather, especially here in Columbia, South Carolina, where I live, all last week, I think, except for last Monday. This past week has been in the 70s, and it's been really warm, really wonderful weather. And this is unusual, kind of like for the month of February. And also the groundhog, he did not see his shadow. So we're going to be experiencing in early spring, so they say. What's his name? Puxatani, I think. But anywho, nevertheless, so we've had great weather, and then yesterday and today, Sunday, it's very, very cold. It's very chilly. So, yeah, so those things are happening right now that we are experiencing. The weather pattern changes, and I think that that has something to do with the climate change and global warming. So we're going to get into global warming next, and the question is climate change and global warming the same? So global warming is the effect of climate change. So in other words, global warming is the warming of temperatures across the nation, across the world. And it is affecting climate change in that fact. So in a way, I guess you could say that the two are interchangeable. And I think that not enough attention has been brought or talked about with climate change and global warming, because it does affect human life to a certain extent and to a certain degree. But I think that with the government, they're so concerned about other issues and non-factors except for human life. And so that's why, you know, I do these videos so that I can keep you, the people, informed, just in case you haven't been doing any research for yourselves, or if you hadn't heard of this. But most likely everybody has. But I just wanted to put an emphasis on this because in the long run, I think that this is pertinent information, and I think that it's information that's going to help us as a race, as a people, to survive. So the definition of global warming is a long-term rise in the average temperature of Earth's climate system. And that's what we're experiencing right now. With, you know, like I stated before, with all of the different weather patterns and all of the different changes. You've got snow here, and you've got really low temperatures that's been happening. Excuse me. Almost like, and I know, like Chicago recently, they had some really low temperatures in Chicago. But yeah, so global warming is affecting the temperatures. Climate change is the effect of global warming. So what does climate change affect? Who does climate change affect? It affects humans and nature. So when we talk about climate change, a lot of times animals may get confused as to what season it is, because they have this instinct, animals do, where like when it's springtime, the birds come out, they're chirping, and then like on these days where it's like in the 70s and it's really warm and it feels like spring, then the birds come out, and then it's like next few days you don't see them anymore because it's so cold. So it's confusing the bees as well, and it's just I think like an imbalance when it comes to the animals. But I think that the animals will be able to adjust probably a little quicker than humans will, or human life. So how does climate change and global warming affect humans? That is a good question, because scientists are still, I guess, in the process of studying that and trying to figure out how it affects us. Excuse me. And how it's affecting us now, and how will it affect us in the long run. So how is climate change affecting humans? It is still being determined how, and it's still being studied. All right, so we're going to talk about 7 ways global warming is affecting daily life. Now, here's definitely one way that it's affecting humans, especially humans that drink beer. Check this out. It says, climate change is threatening 3 main ingredients needed to make beer. So this is for all my beer drinkers out there. Climate change is affecting water, barley, and hops production. So if you don't know, hops is the beer production company, I believe, in Germany. If not, you can go back and correct me on that. You can do your own homework and your own research, and that's what I always tell you. I just present basic information, basic facts, but I want you to look deeper for yourselves if you find this information interesting. So, and I'm a beer drinker. I drink beer every once in a while. I like a nice little Bud Light wine, but So that's how it's affecting us, and it also affects crops. So that's how climate change and global warming can affect people, because it can affect our drinking water, excuse me, and it can affect the crops with the foods that we eat. So let's go on. Number 2, grocery prices are getting higher because they experts predict, that climate change will lead to lower production of maize, and maize is the crop that helps corn and wheat. Excuse me, I have a cold, so please bear with me, and I do apologize for all of the coughing and the sniffling. All right. So anyway, and this could seriously disrupt food supply of Africa and Central America. And it could also definitely affect the United States as well, and not just Africa and Central America. So at the end of the day, we all are in this together, and we all have to be concerned about this in your food supply. And if you don't know what maize is, that's M-A-I-Z-E, not as in Frankie Beverly and Maze, which is M-A-Z-E. But maize, M-A-I-Z-E, which is a Central American cereal plant that produces large grains of corn. Number 3, severe storms, and then we go back to climate change, and we go back to global warming. Weather gets warmer, oceans get warmer, more hurricanes could become prevalent, so on and so forth. And as I stated before, number 4, coming in at number 4, temperature changes, global warming. Number 5, coral reefs are dying. Oceans are acidifying rapidly. I guess because the oceans are getting a lot warmer, and the temperatures of the oceans aren't what they used to be. So the coral reefs really aren't surviving as much. Number 6, lakes disappearing and drinking water supply is at risk. And this is according to the World Preservation Foundation. So major lakes and rivers are dying, and they're drying up. and it is affecting groundwater wells approximately 3 billion people. And I tell people this all the time, and I may sound like a broken record, but definitely stock up on your food supply, stock up on your water. Especially when it comes to the food supplies, you can go online and you can research the MREs, because MREs last for a lengthy period of time, and you can invest in MREs, get you some MREs, some non-perishable food items, canned goods, just stock up on your food items and good, clean drinking water. And number 7, for all of my coffee drinkers out there, coffee production is at risk as well. And in addition to being a beer drinker, I also drink coffee. So the production of coffee relies on cool mountain slopes. Since climate change has raised temperatures in coffee growing regions, coffee growers have had to go farther up the mountains to find cooler air for production. And I think they mentioned something in the article as well about Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is also a coffee region where they produce coffee. So climate change and global warming is affecting these areas as well. And that was number 7. So it says globally, we could lose up to 50% of land suitable for growing coffee by the year 2050, according to the write-up on edf.org, and that's where I've gotten this information from. So if you want to go check it out for yourselves, you can do that at edf.org, and I also put the information in the description link as well. So what can we do? We are already experiencing the effect of climate change. There isn't anything we can do to stop it. Now, the reason why we can't stop it is because it's a natural thing that happens. This isn't something that is like, that has never occurred before or never happened before, because it has. But it's just the fact that those of us that are here on Earth now, we are experiencing it within our lifetime. But what we can do is begin to stock up on foods, non-perishable foods, good, clean drinking water, and also protection. If things get to a point where it gets really bad and people are running out of food, they are running out of water, they're going to start stealing, so they may try to come for you. So make sure you have, the proper protection, your guns, your ammunition, all that good stuff, to have on hand. And I'm not promoting shooting, and I'm not promoting guns, but I am promoting protecting yourselves and protecting your family, because that's important. So if you go to www.job1forhumanity.org, that's www.job1forhumanity.org, is where I found the information, on global warming and global warming effects. So, global warming, observed century-scale rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system and its related effects. Now, human beings are not responsible for global warming. I'm quite sure you've probably heard that before, if you've heard people, in passing, or if you've, skimmed through something on social media where it talks about global warming. Global warming doesn't have anything to do with human beings whatsoever, because it is an earth issue. It's something that the earth itself goes through, and it's something that the earth itself experiences. Why does the earth experience global warming and climate change? I don't know, but it does. I could have, you could present these different theories as to why the earth experiences global change global warming change and climate change. But again, scientists are still studying and researching this as to why. And also, global warming affects changing rain and snow patterns, stronger storms, changes in animal migration and life cycles, higher temperatures, and more heat waves. And speaking of higher temperatures and heat waves, just recently heard that in Australia, in Australia right now, where here in America we're experiencing winter and winter weather, Australia is in its summer months, and it was so hot this year in Australia, maybe just a few weeks ago. It was so hot, I think the animals were really suffering, and I think they had to kill off some of the animals because it was so hot. The temperatures were so heated there. So that's also a part of the global warming effects. More droughts and wildfires, less snow and ice, and the thawing of permafrost. And permafrost is a thick layer of soil that remains frozen throughout the year in places like Antarctica, like the polar regions. But getting back to less snow and ice in Antarctica, in the polar regions, Antarctica, I believe the snow is melting, and it is melting, scientists say, at a very rapid pace. So with the snow melting in those particular polar regions, that could very well cause flooding in some parts or some areas of the world. So definitely stay abreast and stay up to date on that as well. And also, with global warming, damaged corals, and we've mentioned that before, rising sea level, which means, or could mean, possibility of flooding, warmer oceans, and changes in plant life cycle. So, in short, that's just some basic information and some general information about climate change, what it is and how it affects humans, as well as global warming, which I think is pretty much interchangeable with climate change, because global warming is the effect of climate change. So global warming, in other words, causes climate change because the temperatures are getting warmer. And it just seems like balance, it's off. So in short, that's it for the global and climate change. So next up, I want to talk about the pole reversal. And I talked about this earlier. I believe it was in 2012. And if you want, you can go check out that video. I think I titled it Pole Shift, and it's here on YouTube on my channel. So if you want to take a look at that, definitely take a look at it, because right now I'm talking about it again, and the pole reversal has a lot to do with that. So climate change, pole reversal, and global warming are all interconnected with each other in some way, form, or fashion. The pole shifts. 9 fast facts about the pole shift. Number 1. The South Pole has left Antarctica, and the North Pole is racing across the Arctic Ocean. Number 2, according to European Space Agency mission, the mission manager says Earth's magnetic poles are getting ready to flip. Number 3, the magnetic field began weakening in the year 1600. Number 4, the magnetic field weakened 10% from the 1800s to the year 2000. Number 5, Earth's magnetic field was weakening 5% per 100 years, but now it's weakening 5% every 10 years. So as of 2014, the magnetic field continued to weaken, and it continued to weaken at a faster pace. Number 7, magnetic reversals can occur in less than 100 years. So it could occur during our lifetime, and it could not. So less than 100 years. Who knows? I mean, right now, we are experiencing, I believe, this flip right now. Number 8, magnetic reversals lead to extinction events. That could mean the ending of human life and plant life and animal life. And number 9, magnetic reversals may cause severe floods. And this is just reiteration of what I read earlier, what I talked about earlier, what I've gone over earlier. So the South Pole has left the Antarctic, and the North Pole is racing across the Arctic. So when the South Pole left the Arctic, the North Pole is headed to the south. South Pole is headed to the north. And you can find this information on medicaldaily.com. Excuse me, that's www.medicaldaily.com. And it says, what would happen to humans if the North Pole became the South Pole? So the Earth's magnetic field takes between 1,000 to 10,000 years to reverse or to flip, and it has happened before. And so, yes, it's in the process of happening again. Now, the last time it happened, we were not here on Earth, but it's a possibility that this pole shift that's about to occur, that I think is that's happening now, could very well happen within our lifetime. So, if that happens, really don't know what to say, really don't know what to tell you, but I think that as time excuse me gets closer, we'll be able to have a better idea and a better understanding of what we as humans can do to protect ourselves, if anything. Humans will notice the aurora. And one of the effects of the pole reversals is that the auroras, and if you don't know what the auroras are, it's where these beautiful colors, I guess if you will, are in the sky. What causes the auroras? I don't know. I should have looked that up. But hey, I don't know, so I'm giving you some homework. Tell me what auroras are. But no, the auroras, normally, I would love to experience an aurora and to see it, but it's those beautiful colors that light up the sky at night. And normally the auroras could be only seen in the Arctic and in Alaska. But now it states that on medicaldaily.com that the auroras now can be seen in Hawaii. So that's what scientists are saying is a minor change for humans. And the magnets effect on life, it could affect the bees, salmons, turtles, whales, the pigeons, and all of these animals could become disoriented maybe for a short period of time. But scientists believe that they will be able to find their way once they get adjusted. And so with us, there has been talk about like maybe one day waking up and then finding that the world we live in is totally different from the world that we once knew or that we were accustomed to. So if this happens, the pole reversal or the pole shift or the magnetic shift happens where the North Pole switches with the South Pole during our lifetime and we're still here, that's going to be, I guess, a very interesting time, scary time, an amazing time. You know, all of these adjectives I'm throwing out there because it's really going to be different for us, and we are really going to have to make some major adjustments with, I guess, our living arrangements and our lives and excuse me, so on and so forth. And another way that scientists feel that this pole shift may affect human life, there may be more depression. There may be people committing suicides, so it may be more suicides. They may increase, and but scientists are not for sure how this is going to directly affect human beings and human life. So this is just basic information. And definitely, I always encourage you guys to look stuff up for yourselves. I'm going to put some links in the description so you can find these things for yourselves. And also, it wouldn't hurt, and I picked this up the other day. I hadn't even opened it yet. This is a compass. Speaking of compasses and pole reversal shifts, a few years ago, I heard, I think it was in Tampa, Florida, and you can look this up for yourselves, where the where the planes come in. I want to say it was it the runway? It was what was it? Something was off. What was it? Magnetic wise, I guess, because of the pole shifting, and it's shifting at a steady pace, but it's shifting slowly but surely. It's happening. So a few years ago in Tampa, Florida, and probably in some other places, but I didn't hear about it happening in any other places. But they had to change the course of the runway or something because the what's the word I'm looking for? The what is it called? What is it? I can't think of the word now, but whatever it is, or whatever it was off. So they had to end up changing the course of the runway or something like that. So yeah, definitely check that out and look that up for yourselves too. So yeah. So with this pole reversal, it's definitely going to affect GPS. Excuse me, this is a bad cold. It's going to affect GPS systems. Excuse me, and which direction you're going to be going in. So I just picked this up, just in case, just to have, because I like little doohickeys like this. And also it's going to affect maps, and I guess maps are going to have to change. I don't know. It's just so much that we as regular people, non-scientists, don't know. And we amateur scientists are still researching for ourselves and studying. But in a nutshell, this has been about global warming. We've talked about that, climate change, and the pole reversal. So that's just to keep you up to date, to keep you abreast. So I'm going to be back with more videos discussing different topics and such and different things. But I thank you for your time. Thank you for checking me out. And until next time, peace, love, and transcendence, and do your own research. Peace.